What's up, beautiful people? In this video, we will be doing part 2, which is securing the hoop house for the chicken coop. Let's get to it. What's up, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Don't Keep Up With the Joneses. 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 What's up, beautiful people? It's me, Ricky Jones Jr., back again for another video. And like I have said, we will be securing this here hoop house chicken coop, in which we have the frame done. If you missed that video, definitely check it out. It'll be down in the description for part 1, which we did the framing and the door as well for the hoop house chicken coop, which all the different materials and things like that will be in that video's description. However, this one is all about making sure it is secured for the chickens and making sure no predators or prey or them will be able to either get in or get out of the situation. Okay, so make sure you stay tuned and we'll talk you through it as we are going. Let's do it. Alright, great people, so I ran as you saw, the hard wire cloth around the bottom of it. It was 2 feet, and so this is just some added protection. You'll see why I say it's added. I'm just uber secure of my ladies, and so just making sure that they stay in and predators stay out is what I'm going for. But now at this point, what we're going to do is put the tarp over the top of it, and then we'll be able to put the rest of the hardwired chicken cloth along the front and then along the door areas right there and then the sides, and then it will be secure. At that point, we'll put some stones along the sides of it. Some people do bury like a foot deep down here and put the hardwire cloth or some chicken wire down there. Pretty hardwire cloth because chicken wire is very thin, and you'll be good to go from there. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do the necessary security processes so that the ladies will be good. They'll be good to go in here. So that's security for here. And then as you can see, we did put wood in the back, securing the wood to the cattle panel with these here situations, which we did from part 1 as well, and ran the zip ties along the sides of it. And this is done here largely to keep them nice and dry, but then also shaded at the same time. But then we'll also be able to have a hinge system to be able to retrieve the eggs from the back, as opposed to having to come all the way into the coop. And so ideally, we'll be able to create something where, boom, shakalaka, we'll be able to get the eggs from there. And so, you know, stay tuned for that. We're not gonna finish that today, but more than anything, that's the idea. Always thinking ahead when you are doing what you're doing. So let's continue the security process. building a house?
Hey,
little Ricky, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Be their new home, right?
Can I see the chickens?
Yes. Boom! All right, great people. So yes, my camera died in the midst of the build. However, we just kept going because that day seemed like it was forever. So it's actually the next day, but I will talk you through and walk you through the various safety precautions that we did take for the chickens, the hens, for their, you know, hoop housing scenario. The chicks are already in. They were over there overnight, so I am like safe and I feel comfortable with what we ultimately did. But let me show you all and walk you through the various safety components of this here build. Boom! First I want to start off with is our tarp, okay? So I went with 2 tarps, okay? 2 tarps, I think they are 10 foot by 8 foot. And my thought process for that was that it can be 2 over because largely the sun is going to hit the top more than anything. So making sure it had double protection from the sun was the thought process that I had going into it. Now, what I will say is that you definitely have to be more secure about zip tying everything together because some, you know, loose ends can take place, which is why I went around the bottom with the 2-foot mesh or hardwire cloth scenario. I did that first and then I went back with the whole 4-foot scenario along the front area. Now I will have to do some more securing along the bottom because I can see little pockets opening up, which is not what I want. But what I did use to secure certain things is this here not hardwire cloth, but it's the pipe scenario that I showed you all before. We used it on the back side of things just to go ahead and make sure everything was nice and secure on the outside, which worked out great. Now, you know, come for me for the zip ties if you want. It's all good. It's all great. I do have some black ones. This is what I had and this is what we use, okay? I wasn't gonna leave and try to go purchase anything because that's what I had at the time. However, we used the hardwire cloth to secure everything all around, okay? As you can see, everything is nice and secure. We're very happy about that. I'm so happy with how the door turned out, but nonetheless, here we are. And in the back, as you can see, it's all wood, okay? Largely because I have some ideas for automatic feeders and waterers that we're gonna do with that area there. Excuse me, I lost my voice at this event that I went to. But nonetheless, we have it all secure and definitely on both sides. What I do look to do is put some pavers along the side so that it will actually add some more security. As you can see, we have some openings down here. And the birdies, they love me, man. It's amazing how they follow me here, but don't think about me anywhere else. But here we go. It's all about making sure the bottoms are secured, okay? Because that's where your pests and your rodents and your things like that would try to come in and devour or take part in what you all have, which are the chickens and the foods and the things like that. But as you can see here, we have the wooding exterior, keeping it nice and secure up there. We were gonna put the hardwire cloth, but that didn't make sense. But we also did this here scenario as well, just to make sure everything was nice and clamped and sturdy. Because this hardwire cloth is very, very, very sticky, and you definitely want to wear gloves, okay? When I say sticky, I mean like prickly, and it will cut skin, okay? That's just what it does. And so we have the tarp. Of course, you got to have the tarp just to make sure they are nice and safe and secure, but you do want to make sure they have an opening and things like that. Just want to show you all what the back looks like. So it looks like this now. As you can see, there's a hole cut out because this is where we're going to put some hinges here. Already prepared for it, but that's where we're going to be able to pull this opening down and be able to reach into the nest box when those things are finished, okay? And so I'm just making sure I hit everything that I did do, because there were some things I was like, oh snap, I have to make sure I tell you all about. But nonetheless, just making sure everything is nice and sewed up is what I'm gonna have to do. What you will realize is when you do this project is very time consuming and tedious at the same time, because the hardwire cloth is definitely something that you have to unroll, but then it has a mind of its own and wants to move how it wants to move, which is back to the roll up position, which has been in since it left the production line. And then when you get it, then you try to unroll and it's like, oh, it's fighting back. So just keep those things in mind. And then with the tarp, it's definitely a 2-person job, largely because the tarp just wants to do what the tarp wants to do, okay? And even if you get the larger one that just takes the span of the whole thing, you still would have to have somebody to help you. But I did save money because the large tarp was like $60. This one was total $20 when I bought 2, right? And so, you know, something to keep in mind as far as cost savings. The hardwire cloth itself, that was like the 4-foot one that I showed you all, that was $80. The other one down there for the bottom, that one was like 30 something dollars. So, you know, hardwire cloth is not inexpensive, okay? It's more expensive than chicken wire, but it's definitely more secure. And so that's going to keep things out, which is ultimately what you want to do. And at the end of the day, with the all, you just want to make sure those pockets, those holes that I showed you all, are no longer there. And we just use this extra piece of the hardwire cloth there. That's why you see so many zip ties, which I do have black zip ties. I did go to the store, so I will be not replacing what I did do, but fortifying what was done, because the black zip ties, just so you all know, because I watched a lot of videos, and like I said, I'm doing this one to help you all after seeing what was out there. But the black zip ties are useful because they are UV protected, meaning that they will withstand the sun beating on it and things like that, the water, all that good stuff. Whereas these look cool, they are pretty, but with a lot of sun, they will pop, okay? And what we don't want to come out to is holes in our hoop house, okay? So I will go ahead and fortify with the black ones, not on this here video, but I will do that. You'll see it as we go on from there. But that's the main thing, ladies and gentlemen, just making sure everything, no holes are left unaccounted for, okay? Whether you use wood, or if you use hardwire, mesh wire, or if you use the tarp scenario. And with the tarp, I will say there is no hardwire cloth up under the tarp. It's just straight tarp there. But you know, I feel like it should be secure. I don't think anything is trying to scratch through the tarp. If so, we have a bigger problem, Houston. But I will be growing some things along there just to give them some shade, but then also want to make sure they do have sun, because they are chickens, they are animals. At the end of the day, we all love and need sun. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what it all turned out to be, which I'm also excited with how it turned out. I had this in my mind for a while, ladies and gentlemen, but now it is in the actual backyard. Look at here, the size of this bad boy. And yeah, so this one's all about security, this video. And you know, just making sure you go to the ground. I am going to be mindful of this bottom area. I think I'm going to put a piece of 2x4 that's on the inside. It'll be on the inside there, just to make sure that bottom piece is nice and secure. I don't want anything, and I do mean anything, trying to get in there with my birdies, with my hands, with my latex. So just making sure they're safe. That's the whole objective, making sure they're safe. You want to keep them in and keep predators out. And even in situations like this, you know, I could have used different wood. This wood is just not as firm or as sturdy as, you know, some are. And so, you know, those things are some things to keep into consideration when you are building your hoop house. Just making sure that it is wood that is straight, sturdy. And so maybe like 1x4s would have been ideal, just to give you a idea of what I'm even speaking of. For extra safety measures with the door latch, I did get this here little clamp scenario that people use when they go hiking and things like that. I did get it today, so obviously I had something here for last night. And so what you ultimately do is just slide this here in the hole area, which will keep the door from being able to open and things like that. So that's something good to have there for the chick, for another added level of security. And so only ideally a human can open this and not a raccoon or anything like that. So that's going to keep the door nice and safe and sturdy. So invest in one of these. I got it from the $1.25 store. And even with the doorknob, I do want to say for security, because this is a security thing, you definitely want to have a doorknob. But anyway, with the doorknob, what you want to do is actually have something for you that you can relieve yourself and free yourself from being trapped on the inside. And so I trapped myself actually while we were building this bad boy. But here's the mechanism that I use, which is a simple string, and I have it tied over to a nail, which will stop it from coming through the hole. You see what I'm saying? Like that, boom shakalaka. But nonetheless, with it all, when I want to exit the bad boy, exit the hoop house, that is what I do. When I pull that, it opens this latch, and then it lets me out to my safe place, which is out and not trapped in. So just some other safety precautions that you can do while you are building your hoop house. All right, y'all. And so with that being said, definitely let me know if you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize for not being so, you know, demonstrative or showing you all the different steps and things like that. I thought it was rolling, I thought it was going, but my camera did die on me. So at that point, I just kept going. I persevered, and I'm telling you, that is the hardest part. I will say, even building the hoop house wasn't tough, wasn't hard at all. I did have help, but securing it, that's the one that's tedious, hard work, and it just takes time, because the hardwire cloth is not, it just doesn't want to form the way you want it to form. It wants to do what it wants to do, which is coil up. But in it all with it all, I think these chicks are secure even for now. I will make sure they're good to go going forward. But this is what you have to do, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have any questions, definitely and please let me know. I would greatly appreciate it so that I can talk through what I didn't show. But then if you have a question, somebody else may have that same question, so feel free to drop it down below. I was hands-on with this, and so I can definitely talk you through what it is that I did to get to where we are. But nonetheless, it's secure, it's here, the chicks are here, they made it overnight, they made it through the day, so let's keep going, okay? So I love you all, I appreciate you all. Happy growing, happy living, which will lead to a happy belly, okay? And how? Eggs are on the way, okay? That's the only thing that's next. But hit it all with the all. I love you all, I appreciate you all. I will definitely see you on the next video. Until then, peace, love you.